On this episode of Podcastification, I want to walk you through the steps of how you can get more guests for your podcast. My name is Kerry Green, and I am the Client Happiness Guy at PodcastFastTrack.com, and this is Podcastification. This show is all about podcasting. How to do it, how not to do it, best practices, interesting news items that have to do with the realm of podcasting, and who knows what else. And I'm trying to do it all with a little bit of fun and some information to help you get a show going, keep yours going, or make it better. And if you like what's going on here on the show, I would appreciate it, so appreciate it, if you could leave a rating or review on iTunes. You can find out how to do that at podcastfasttrack.com/review. That's enough of that kind of stuff. Let's get you podcastificated right away. Anyone who does an interview-based show needs to know the best way to go about getting good guests for your show. I mean, think about it. It's an interview-based show, right? So the quality of what you're bringing to your listeners, to your audience, is going to depend entirely on the quality of guests that you get. So in this episode of Podcastification, I'm going to walk you through the steps I take, the steps I've seen my clients take to get the better guests for their podcast episodes. This is going to be very detailed, step by step. So what do you say we get started? Well, this first thing I'm going to suggest is something that just can't be shortcutted. Now, you may be able to have a virtual assistant or some other person who's on your team do this work for you. But I have found this is work that's indispensable to getting the right kind of guest for your show. And here's what it is. Do your homework. I mean, you have to kind of research and find the guests that are going to be right for your show. Not everyone is. There are some services out there that can help you find the right kinds of guests. You can go to Interview Valet. It's a service that's free, always free, to people like you who are looking for actual guests to be on your podcast. Tom and the team over there at Interview Valet work really hard to get you the best guests that you possibly can have for your show. And you can hear a conversation I recorded with Tom Schwab from Interview Valet at podcastfasttrack.com/42. It's a great conversation about what Interview Valet can do for you as a podcaster. There are some other services out there that also provide similar services as to what Interview Valet does. You can check interviewconnections.com. Jessica and her team do a great job of helping people find just the right guests for their podcasts. And besides that, there is another option that I am familiar with called podcastguests.com. Andrew and his team do a great job using an email newsletter sort of a format to both let you know of shows that are looking for guests, so maybe you'd be interested in that, but also to give you the opportunity to reach out and find guests for your podcast. But the thing I want to emphasize here most of all is that you need to do your homework. If you're going to invite someone to be a guest on your show, you owe it to them to make sure they are a good fit for your audience. Because the last thing you want to do is to give yourself the reputation that you're inviting people onto your show without knowing that they actually are the person with the kind of experience and expertise that would benefit your audience. Because let's face it, if a person comes on your podcast and is not benefiting, like they're not getting people contacting them because of their appearance in your show, they're not getting any opt-ins, they're not getting anyone reaching out to them as a result of being on your show, what kind of impression is that going to place in their mind about you and about your show? And who knows what they might say to others when your show comes up in conversation. So I would recommend to you that you do your homework. Make sure you're reaching out to people who are an excellent fit for your particular audience and your particular demographic. Let's move on to step number 2, the second thing I would suggest that you do when you're reaching out to guests for your podcast. One of the most important things you can do when you're reaching out to someone is to focus on the benefits it will be to them to be on your podcast. Tell them about your demographic, who it is that listens to your show. Tell them what kind of expertise they have that you think would best benefit your show. And also highlight the benefits you expect that they are going to get out of being on your show. A part of that is emphasizing your desire to feature them and their expertise. You want them to recognize that they have something to offer that will not only be of value to your audience, but also will be of value to them. And that leads us to the next point. It's not something you absolutely have to do, but it's something that I always suggest to my clients that they do for their podcast guests. In my opinion, it's kind of mandatory that if you're going to invite someone to be a guest on your show, think about what they're doing. They are taking time out of their busy schedule. They are giving away free content out of their own head, their own experience, their own expertise to your listeners. At the very least, you want to give them the opportunity to make some kind of offer or to offer some kind of free gift to your audience, something that will give them the opportunity to benefit in a tangible way from being on your podcast. So that may be an opt-in page that they want to send your listeners to. Hey, in my book, that is entirely fine. They are doing you a great service by giving you content to produce on your podcast. The very least you can do is give them an opportunity to benefit from being on your show. So whether it's a book they want to promote, a new course they have, maybe it's a coaching package, or perhaps it is an opt-in on their website where they can give away a free resource by getting an email address from your listeners. Any of those, and maybe even other options, I think are entirely acceptable for your guest to do. And you want to make sure that when you're reaching out to that guest, you're letting them know you are excited for them to bring some kind of offer or some kind of free gift to your particular listeners, so that they can get exposure and get more on their mailing list or more in their following. That's just an even exchange. It's a kind of a you scratch my back, I scratch yours thing that works very well in the sharing economy of the internet. Well, let's go on to some of the things you want to communicate in that email or in that phone call that you make to a potential guest. What should you tell them about what it is you're going to talk about? I believe that when you're reaching out to someone as a potential guest on your podcast, you need to let them know specifically what it is you want them to share on your show. Don't just make it this ambiguous kind of ethereal, we're just going to talk sort of thing. No. Be very specific with them. Give them an idea of what you want to talk about. That's going to put them at ease, and it's going to give them the opportunity to prepare and bring even better content to you and your listenership. So this goes back to that homework step. It requires that you do your homework. You know their expertise. You've seen some of their podcast episodes or YouTube videos that they've created. You have done your research, so you know the areas that are going to be of greatest value to your audience. And so you're going to ask them specifically about those kinds of things. Now, you'll have some time in later steps to develop your questions more fully and the kind of things you want to talk to them about. But when you reach out to them, if you can narrow down the options of what you could talk about with them and tell them exactly what you want to talk about with them, you are going to have a much better chance of snagging that expert guest because they're going to see you as a person who's taking this seriously. You've done your homework, you know what they can bring to the table, and you want to highlight that and bring it as a great chunk of value to your audience. They're going to be much more prone to helping you by being on your podcast. Well, let's move on to the next thing, and that is giving them a way to pick a time that's best for them. Now, most podcasters these days are probably doing what I'm about to suggest already. But if you're not, there are lots of free ways that you can get this set up, and that is providing a scheduling link to your prospective guests on your show. And what I mean by a scheduling link is it's a link that you include in the email where you're basically telling them, choose a time that works best for you where we could do this podcast recording. You can use a service like youcanbook.me. That's the one that I use for all my scheduling. You could use Schedule Once. You could use Acuity scheduling. There are all kinds of options, and most of those have a free service that you can use. I mean, I have a pretty significant business going here, along with my podcasting and all of that kind of stuff, and I still use the free version of youcanbook.me. It's very powerful. There's all kinds of things. And one of the coolest things about it is that it does away with time zone confusion. I mean, they choose a time that works for them within their time zone, and then it translates for you on your end to your time zone. And it also integrates with whatever kind of calendar system that you're using. So if you've got an appointment or a scheduled time on your calendar already, You Can Book Me, for example, is not going to show that that time is available. It's already taken. So your guests are only going to see the times that you truly have available. And you can go in and set buffer times around your appointments so that you're not backing things up back to back. You can do all kinds of powerful things with those scheduling links. But that is an incredibly efficient and considerate way that you can give to your potential guests that they can schedule a time that's convenient for them. And I'm here to tell you, man, if you will bend over backwards to make it convenient for them, they will be much more likely to be on your podcast. There's one other thing I'm going to suggest. It's not a have-to thing, but man, if you can do this for your guests, you're going to get many more who say yes to you. What is it? I'm going to tell you in the final point. I suggest that you provide a form or a questionnaire to your guest for them to complete if they say yes. In this form or questionnaire is something that is information you need about them to help promote them. And that's how you want to position it. You want to say to them, here is a link to a form I would like to ask you to fill out. And maybe this would be in your scheduling link. It's like the next step of instructions, what they need to do to be on your show. In this questionnaire, you want to keep it as brief as possible, but you also want to make it complete so that you can get the information you need to promote them well. And so on the next episode of Podcastification, I'm going to tell you exactly what I would include in that particular form. And I'm going to tell you how I would go about setting up, including platforms, what I would include on the form, and how I would implement it in a way that's going to get more people walking through the steps because they're simple, they're easy, and they're things they can do within 5 minutes. Hello? Well, there you have it. That's my suggestions. That's what I tell my clients about how to go about reaching out to people you want to be guests on your podcast episode. None of it's complicated, but it does take some time to set up and get in place. But if you think about this as one of those things that if you do a little work now, it can save you tons of headaches later, I think you'll see the value of setting these things up ahead of time. Hey, I would love to hear what you think about this episode of Podcastification. Wherever you're listening to this, there's an option there for you to make a comment, whether it's on social media or on the website at podcastfasttrack.com/podcastification. I would love to hear from you. Let me know things that you do to make it easier for your guests to say yes to your invitation to be on their podcast. Or what are some of the things you do to research guests and find the exact right guests for your show? I would love to know because I don't have a corner on the market of how to do this. So you can reach out to me if you'd like. Carey, Carey, at podcastfasttrack.com. Now it's time for you to go out and make it a podcastificating day. This show is brought to you by Podcast Fast Track, where my team provides professional podcasting services without the time suck. Full production, editing, and show notes, all in one monthly subscription package. You can find out more at podcastfasttrack.com. Now go out and make it a podcastificating day. Audio editing and show notes by podcastfasttrack.com. Get 15% off your first month by mentioning this show.